Good evening and welcome to, and I'm back, by the way, Let's Talk Shop with Russ. Appreciate y'all being here tonight. Yep. I missed y'all last week. I really did. I swear. Um, I had a last minute cancellation with a guest, and I was like, I woke up Saturday morning. I was thinking about things that we could do for Saturday night, and I thought to myself, this is the fourth season, so I do about 50 shows a year, give or take. I mean, some years it's been like 48. The first year was 50 shows. So I was like, my wife and I have agreement with the children that on Mother's Day, which is Sunday, they have, like, the daughters have mother-in-laws they have to go see, and then the son-in-laws have, anyway, you get what I'm saying. So we just tell them we're going to be here all day. Like on Father's Day, I'm going to be here all day. Just come see me whenever you want to see me. And that's the way my wife is. Just come by and see us. We're here all day. I cook breakfast for her and stuff like that. She cooks breakfast for me on Father's Day, and we do that little kind of thing. So make a long story short, we don't have a lot of time. We don't go out to dinner. Like, I don't take her to dinner or anything on Mother's Day. So I was thinking, you know what? I got a cancellation. I really don't have anything to do. The heck with it. Sorry, guys. I love you, but I canceled the show and took my wife to dinner. So and then we even did a little shopping afterward. We had a good time. So, but no, we went out to dinner and had, usually when we go out to dinner, if we go out to dinner on a Saturday, it's got to be like we go out to dinner about 4:00. So we have dinner and everything, get back home before the show. And let me tell you, I thank God for my wife. She never complains about the show. She knows I have the show on Saturday night. She is 110% supportive of me in this show. She will tell other people when they are scheduling things, don't schedule it on Saturday night. He's got the show, so don't schedule it. So I don't do it that often. I hope you understand, and we're back tonight and ready for a good time. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So anyway, but yeah, thank you for being out there. Tom Spillane's out there. Becky's Texas Wood Shop's out there. They're all out there. Katie Dotson's out there. Everybody's out there in the chat. We have a whole bunch of people out there in the chat waiting for us and watching us tonight. So we got Ken's going to be here tonight. He's going to show us, he's going to show us about segmented bowls, how he does it, how to turn them and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to this. I've done a few of them, but I know Ken's done a little bit more than I have. So I'm looking forward to see what he has to say about it. We're going to have a giveaway tonight. That's one of the things I want to talk about. First, before we start anything, I want to talk about my wonderful sponsors, and they are Devobal Technologies for web design, development, and hosting. Visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard-to-find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist. Woodshop.com, and Seiko, the scroll saw specialist. They're new coming on board. Seiko.com. I have my ST21 scroll saw that I scroll on now over on Scrolling with Russ. So thank you to all my sponsors, and I appreciate it very much. There's only one more thing I want to talk about real quick before we get down to introducing and get to Ken, and that is the newsletter. I am just blown away. As of tonight, I have 167 people. This is within the first 30 days of me announcing about the newsletter. 167 people that's already signed up for the newsletter. That is just phenomenal, if you ask me. I really, really never figured. I figured I might hit 100 after 3 or 4 months. So to hit 167 when I checked it this afternoon before the show started, or before I come out here to start the show, I'm just blown away that many people would, jump on board and do the newsletter. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a newsletter that's out once a month. It will come out, and it's an email newsletter. If you want to go get on board and join all the other 167 people that have joined, go to simplywoodencreations.com, go across the menu bar, and you will see newsletter. Click there, and then go down, and you can read about it, and then click on there. And here, let me just show you real quick. I'm locked on myself, so gotta do this screen share thing. Come on, SWC website, open up. Can y'all see my page yet? Oh, nope, I haven't hit share. Now you should be able to see it.
Gotcha.
I like that little psychedelic thing that it does if you don't. All right, so here we are. So we go over to newsletter, click on it, and a little bit about it. I'm going to add more to this, but DeVobel's already stepped up and got the breadcrumb thing across the top of the page. It looks so great. I really appreciate them for what they've done to that. They designed that for me for this page. But you'll find out on my information what's happening around the SWC Wood Shop. Each month, the newsletter will contain different information about how do articles, updates or changes, upcoming trade or tool shows, upcoming classes, tool reviews, product maintenance advice, tips and tricks, questions and answers. And especially for the subscribers is going to be discounts for tools I'll release only in the newsletter. And there'll be certain patterns that'll be released only in the newsletter that won't be available for months later down the road on the website. So to subscribe, you just click here and fill out this information. Email, first name and last name are required. All the other that you want to give me is just whatever you want. But I do need your email address, your first and last name. But that's it. Just click right there and subscribe. And like I said, 167 people in the first. I haven't even got my second newsletter out yet. That won't come until, what is this, May, June, the first week of June. And I already hit 167. I'm blown away. And I want to tell you another thing that I'm blown away by is I never have asked for money in any way, shape, or form, but I mentioned it about the GoFundMe. Or not GoFundMe, the PayPal me, that people could donate through that. And the people that have already donated and the amount that's already been donated to me has just rocked my world. Let me tell you, I've never in a million years expected that many people to come forward and that much in donations. You know, it's one thing to do this show every week and have all you out there watching me and have this wonderful panel that's here every week. But when you mention something and bring forward something like the newsletter and see the response, or say something about the donations and see the response, it only does one thing to me. It just blows me away and makes me know that I must be doing something right. Because otherwise that nobody or not that many people would respond as the way they have. I'm kind of like stammering and stuttering for words, is because when I think about it, it's awesome. So, but what that does do about the donations is it opens it up. We're going to have a giveaway tonight, and I can have more giveaways because I talked about this before. When I have a lot of my sponsors send me stuff and I have to resend it out. So the donations will help pay for the postage, for the shipping, for these things, for the giveaways and other things to keep the show running, and the Twitch show running, Scrolling with Russ. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And if you would like to donate, go over to my website and you'll see the PayPal me. Just go over there and you're more than welcome to donate. And I appreciate that so very much. Just before we go down the list, but TJ's Woodworking Shop is now out there. Tom Spillane, Katie Dotson's out there. I'm looking back through to see who else is. Michelle Marcoux is out there. Donna Presley is in the chat tonight, and there's a lot of good reports. So I just want to bring this up real quick. A lot of good reports about her and her brother. Her brother got hurt in a accident, a farming accident, and they weren't expecting him to regain consciousness. They weren't expecting him to come off the ventilator. They weren't expecting him to eat food. They weren't expecting him to walk again. And guess what? He's doing all that. He is doing all that. He's out of the hospital. He's actually home, and he is doing much, much better. So that just blows me away again. And thank you all, everybody that supported her and has donated to her and her cause, and also has said prayers for him, because that's really, really great. And she's out there in the chat. Hi, Donna. Glad you're out there. I'm so glad that your brother's doing so much better. That really makes me feel good. Ken McCrory's out there. Dave Satoski. Ooh, I know I'm going to probably mess that one up. Be Happy Woodworking. They're all out there in the chat. And so let's go down the list and have each one of our people on the panel tell us where we can find them, and then we'll go to Ken Moon. Ken, you're going to be last because you're the guest. So first is going to be Russ Meadows. Tell us where we can find you and who you are.
I'm not surprised. First day back, you hit me up the first one. I usually the last. Okay. I would have known that. I'd have jumped in the back of the classroom. Russ Meadows here from Rusty Nails Wood Shop. Y'all can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and just a minute amount of YouTube.
Great to have you back. And your home's getting back in shape.
It's so close I can taste it.
Good.
I got one good room left to go, and then I'll be done.
I got about 1/3 of my roof done with the actual metals on only. And you know what the funny thing about the damn thing is, it waited all this time, and I waited for 3 weeks for the metal. Finally got the metal, starting to put it on, and guess what? It starts raining.
Now, see, I'm kind of surprised you tell me you got 1/3 of it done with all that help you had on the roof. Wow.
Oh yeah, well, it's all that help. Yeah, right. I wished I had all that help. Anyway, let's go to Paul.
Well, I wasn't hardly ready because I'm never this early in the lineup.
Well, I'm catching y'all all off guard tonight then.
Yeah. I'm Paul Corliss from Paul's Messy Workshop. That's Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, on Instagram, and on .com, but don't get excited about the .com page. Thanks for having me on, Russ. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I enjoy having you on. And
I really liked being on to make sure that Ken Moon was really going to do a thing on here tonight.
He wasn't going to cancel.
That's right.
Actually, I want to talk about this. Dave Satoski. I'm going to say Satoski, that I said before. He says, you actually pronounce my name extraordinarily well. Actually, even my first name. So, hey, I'm getting better. Mr. Al Forte.
Hello, everyone. Al Forte.
Not Forte.
Forte, or Forte, as some people has also said. But anyway, it's Forte for sure. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. We've been having a blast. If you only knew, anyway, you can find me at Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop on YouTube, Odessa Woodworking on Facebook, Kilroy 79763, probably everywhere else, on Twitch for sure. Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. John.
Total blast.
John.
Well, guys, I missed the blast before the show. So anyway, John Schaffner here from Saugee Central, New York. You can find me on Facebook under my name. And I do have a YouTube channel, which I haven't updated in over a year. So if you haven't seen it by now, you're not going to see it. This is my granddaughter, Briella. She's
Hey, Briella, how are you doing? She's pretty.
Yeah, pretty much a pain in the butt. Everybody's taking off Monday. They're all going to Arizona. I'm going to be here all by myself for 9 whole days.
Oh, I bet you're going to love that.
Yes, I am. All you guys are invited up. I'll cook out.
Okay,
and
cool.
we'll even have a beer.
Okay, cool. All right, next is Katie. Katie Dotson, how are you?
Hey, who let Katie in?
Well,
We can't hear
actually,
you.
and your mic's not working, sweetheart.
No sound.
No sound. What did you change? Everything's been going great, and all what the hell tonight?
Nope, still nothing, Katie.
Well, try to fix it, and we'll come back to you. Jim, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Hey, thanks for having me here. Jim Bashir from Driveway Workshop. And highlight of the week was I got to spend a few minutes with Steve Good on Friday at the Scrollers show over in Ohio. So that was a lot of fun. He's a great guy. And like I said, thanks for having me. And
that's great. You got to see Steve Good Friday?
I actually sat down. There was only like 2 guys at the table, and actually got to sit down and talk with him for a little while. Then I got a text that I had a new grandkid, and Steve kicked me out of the show, and I blasted over to the hospital.
Did Steve tell you that he's my number one? In other words, I'm his number one fan. He tell you that?
Yeah, he said that. You're right. I remember that now. He did say he'd known you for about 10 years and stuff, and you helped him start his show and all that stuff like that. So, yeah, work with him on his show and everything. But
yeah, he's a great guy. He really,
I really like him a lot. Yeah, I wish he was a little bit closer so I could talk to him a little bit more.
Well, where you live?
I live just south of Chicago in Indiana, but I was over in Cleveland for work all week training. Yeah. And this thing was in Cuyahoga Falls, which is just by Akron. So I went down there, and I was going to stay there, for a couple hours, 3 hours or whatever, and then drive home. But so I had to spend some time with him.
I just remembered your Facebook post saying you were over in Ohio. I had no idea that he lives in Kentucky, actually.
Yep. Yeah, he drove up. There was another guy there from, I can't remember where it was, but it was a nice little show and a lot of good talent there. Lee Nyden puts it on, or his group there puts it on.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Chris Ahern.
There we go. Okay. Hey guys, Chris Ahern here from the Old Cranky Workshop. You'll find me on Facebook and YouTube, and soon to be website. It's in development now, and we saw the rough draft of it this last week. I got to get back in contact and make a few tweaks here and there and see where we want to go. So watch out for that. Hopefully I'll have a web address to give out soon.
Cool. Yeah, I saw the when you showed me the preliminary of the website. Yeah. It looked good. It looked really good. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm gonna change a few of the departments, a few of the sections, but it's looking good.
Is that watch out for that, or watch out for that?
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And then last but not least is Brenda.
Brenda of Brenda G's Designs. You'll find me as Brenda G's Designs all over the internet. I'm on YouTube. I have a live stream on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm on Twitch. I have live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and I have an Etsy store. Every place I'm Brenda G's Designs.
Cool.
If you can't find her there, you look for Debbie.
Or who was the other one? Darlene. Yeah, Debbie, Brenda, Debbie, or Darlene. I don't know where the hell I come up with Darlene that one night.
So which one's here tonight?
Brenda's here tonight.
Oh, okay.
But I said I've come up with Debbie and Darlene also. Yeah.
Okay, am I working now?
Hey,
Yes,
Katie.
you are.
Cool.
Then tell us where we can find you.
I'm on Facebook. I have a YouTube page that I never do anything on. Just pretty much Facebook or out in the yard. And for the past week and a half, it's been out in the mud. I'm over it.
I'm over the rain here too. It's rained every day here since Saturday this past week. So we've been through one solid week of rain, and we're not talking about a little rain. We're talking about just inches upon inches. Last night it rained, and I guarantee you it rained 3 or 4 inches at my house last night. I mean,
there's been some real duck drowners here.
Yeah. We call them gully washers, where they wash everything out of the gully.
Duck drowners, frog stranglers.
Yeah. One of those 2 or 3. All right. Well, let's get to the man of the hour. And I know he's over there chomping at the bit. And that is Mr. Ken Moon from Moon Pie Creations. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Where's my intro music?
Where's your intro music?
Yeah. Maybe more like.
Is there some stripper music that we can get going?
Music? Yes, folks. That's why we're here.
If he
Welcome
starts
back,
taking
Katie.
stuff off, I can guarantee you I'm canceling the show.
But the rest of us will watch, Ken. We will. We'll make fun, but we'll watch.
You probably get a lot more subscribers there, Russ. I'm just saying. I'm a pretty big deal online.
Well, good to have you here. And what you got for us?
First of all, my name's Ken Moon from Moon Pie Creations. You can find me over on YouTube at Moon Pie Creations, or on Facebook, Moon Pie Creations, Instagram. I think it's MPC_Moon Pie. I think. I'm not positive. So, Russ, I appreciate you having me on. You asked me to talk a little bit about segmented bowl turning, so I think I'll show you what I use. I'm not going to take you over to my other building where my table saw is to cut the pieces. I'm just going to show you what I use to do it, if that's all right.
Yep, that sounds great.
All right. Let me get it. I used, this is my new improved wedgie sled. My friend Dave Gatton made this for me because mine was made out of MDF and it got wet. And you know what happens to the MDF when it gets wet? It goes from that size to that size. So, but I use this, but it all starts off with a piece of wood. Like we were talking about before the show there, Russ. Anyways, you have to get your wood strip. Inside joke. You have to get your wood flat for the wedgie sled because it goes on the wedgie sled this way, right here. You have to have one side that's actually flat also. Okay. And what I do is this rides on the table saw, and this is set at 16 segments. There's little wedgies that go in there. That's why it's called the wedgie sled. But you just start cutting it, and every time you cut it, you bring it to each side to cut it. I guess that makes sense to you, right, Russ?
Yeah, it's a sled, and each one of those are set at a specific angle so that you'll get 16 segments to make a circle pattern for a bowl. Okay,
real quick before I put that wedgie sled back, there is an issue if you use this wedgie sled like I just showed you. I write the squiggly lines on here so I know what side I cut it. So when I go to glue them all together, all the lines are on the top side. Okay. When you do this, you're cutting your wedges, which look like this. So the first one would come out there. The second one would come out there. Okay, and then the third one would come out like that. This is what happens when you cut a straight piece of wood like that. You can see the spalting let me see. The spalting's on the inside. It's on the outside. It's on the inside. It's on the outside. That's what happens with that. So if you want to have a piece of wood, let's just use this for example, that's uniform throughout the whole thing, you would need to do both sides and go from there to there to there to there.
Right.
You'll be able to cut the wedges there.
Can you show the bottom of that sled to show the people the sliders?
I had gotten some 3/4 inch HDM or HDPE, and I cut my runner out of that, and then I glued it to the bottom of this right here. You also have these little knobs. We were talking about the angles. If you loosen the knobs, these little things will move.
Right.
And that's how you set it up for the wedges in there.
So if you wanted to go to a 22 or 11 segment bowl, you could just move them.
Yes, you could just move them. So,
right.
Yeah.
And do you think when you make runners for those things, the HDPE, is it better to use than like a hardwood?
I think the HDPE does, because it doesn't swell and move with the with humidity. It just is flat. I either use those or I use the pieces of metal from the Craig. Actually, the runners that they sell, I'll buy those. They're $20, and I'll buy 2 of them for a big sled, or 1 of them for that, and I'll cut it down. So once you get them cut, you glue them into a circle like this little circle here. I use the little acid brushes. They have the metal on them. I don't have one handy. I couldn't find any. I guess I got to go to the store and get them. And I just brush glue in between and set them up on a flat surface. And it's easier to show it if I could, but I cannot. Okay. Once I have them glued down or set down like this, I use this pipe clamps right here. I've got a whole bunch of different sizes of these, and I also have multiple ones strung together. What you're going to do is it just clamps down to it. Oh, hold on. It's hard to do when it's sitting up like this. You tighten it like this, and then you let it dry. Okay, and that's basically how I get my circles. They turn out and they'll look like this right here. This is the one that I didn't use on a project. See how it's all jaggedy and messed up right there?
Kind of raise it up a little bit if you would, because it's hard to see it with the panels. Sorry. Yeah.
You see how it's all just messed up right there? I'll show you how I fix that in a minute. Okay. Right now, there's different ways you can use to attach these. Okay. You can use a piece of waste block right here. Oh, I'm presenting now. Wow. Okay. And then take this little object right here, and it has holes in it, and you drill screws into the waste block. A waste block like this, it'll go on just like this. Okay. You can that's a smaller faceplate than what normally comes. That is. I've got a few other ones, but they're connected to bowls. Like.
Yeah, but where did you get those smaller faceplates from?
I got it from Woodcraft.
Really?
Here's one that's a little bit bigger. It's on this spalted bowl that I've been working on.
Cool.
It's a little bit bigger.
I didn't know they made smaller sizes. I got to look into that. Yeah,
this one is the medium size right here. There's another one that's even smaller than this.
Right. Oh, wow.
Even the ones I have for my lathe only have like 4 screw holes in them.
Yeah, but that came with my lathe. Yeah, that's about the size of the one that came with my lathe.
That's usually what comes. These are the 6-inch or the 6-inch face plates that usually come with the lathe. So
yeah, mine's about 6 inches.
Well, mine's a Harbor Freight, so it's made out of like cardboard, but still, it's only got 4 holes in it.
Another way
Are you still laughing about that, Ken?
I'm trying to help them.
Okay. Another way to connect the bottom of the bowls is a worm screw right here. This, you would drill a hole. I think it's a 5/16 hole or drill bit right here. I got it marked with the black on there so I don't forget where it is. Drill a hole, and then you put this into your chuck, which is right here, and it goes inside there, right there, and this thing, the clamps down on it, okay? And that will hold your piece of wood. You'll screw your piece of wood on there. Or you can turn them, huh?
I got news for you. I do not like that way. Every time that I've ever tried it, it has come loose for some reason, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. That I'm not tightening it down on the chuck or not with the worm screw or whatever. But every time I've done it, it just did
the worm screw come loose in the wood or
no,
in the chuck?
It come loose out of the chuck. It started vibrating.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I twist them down pretty hard. So
I guess I might be. I'm worried about breaking the chuck, so I guess I'm not twisting it down hard enough.
Yeah. Now I don't use this very often. I used to, but I tend to strip wood out. I get too aggressive when I'm turning the bowl, and it kind of strips the wood out. So
yeah, I hate
one of those.
Strips the wood out.
I have one of those screw chucks that actually has a taper to match my lathe. I think it's I don't remember if it's a 1 or 2 taper, but I don't have to put it in the chuck. I just stick it in there and away we go. Just like that right there. It's tapered.
Yeah, this right here, you can also turn pieces between centers. This one and the tailstock center, which if I can grab it real quick, sorry. You would put the piece of wood in between here to turn it, and you can do it that way. And those are the different ways to do it. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to glue a piece. This is my blank right here. This is Purple Heart. And I'm going to glue this to the bottom of this and use the chuck to turn it. Let me show you real quick how I do this. I'm not going to do it because it makes a mess, and I don't want to get it all over the computer and the lens on the camera and stuff like that. Let me switch over there, and I'll show you what I hook up to do that.
Ken's going to hook us up.
Hey, what's that blue sticker on there?
Which blue one? That one?
Yeah.
That is Simply Wooden Creations.
Wow.
All right, so I made this in a video. It's really super simple, okay? Did it switch over? All right. This right here is just a piece of wood I got over at the orange store, or nope, the blue store. Sorry, Russ. It was like a tabletop or something like that, and I got it, and I smoothed it down, got it straight, hooked it up to this face plate, and then popped a 12-inch sanding disc on it. Really simple to make a sanding disc in. Like this, and this is what I do to sand it down. I'll go ahead and do a little bit of it.
Actually, I like that. That's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
So, let me take this off.
All right, guys, I'm going to present him. Well, I love the panel, but we're going to present him to everybody, and we'll hide the panel to give him more area. See what he's doing.
Well, I'm going to come back over here. I want to talk before we start cutting any of the bowl and stuff like that. I want to show a few other things and talk a little bit about other things. Okay. We talked about putting these things together right here, and then flattening them down. So I flattened these down earlier today. and they are maple. So I've drawn some. Let me get over here. Whoa, shit. That's gonna fall off my school. You've done that, Russ. Don't laugh at me. Okay, so there are definite lines because of the wedges on here. Okay, you can see the lines for the wedges. Those lines should be when you're turning a segmented bowl should be offset like this. It does a couple of things. It gives it a better look, and it also strengthens the bowl when you're gluing it together. Okay, I put some lines on here so you can see a little bit better. Right there. See the two line, the line there. See how they go into the center of the other wedge.
You don't want the glue lines to match up.
You can if you want that effect, but to have a stronger bowl, you set them off like this. And I'll tell you, it's very important in Purple Heart and Brazilian Cherry. I'm not sure if you saw my last video. I did a couple of Brazilian Cherry bowls. And the Brazilian Cherry is a very oily wood, and it does not take very well to glue. And I'll be honest with you, Purple Heart does not either. So when I had the rings glued together, they kept falling apart. I finally got them glued together pretty strong, and then I offset the rings, and it was solid after that. All right. Okay. Are there any questions so far?
I haven't seen any out there in the chat. Anybody else any out there in the chat?
No, but I do have one.
Right. John, you have one. Go ahead.
When you're gluing these together, what kind of glue are you using?
I know it doesn't show it in here, but I use Titebond 3. The only reason I use Titebond 3 is because most of the bowls I do are this exotic wood, which is very oily. And Titebond 1 and Titebond 2, although they'll work, they're not as strong and they don't hold together as well. So I just buy Titebond 3 and I use Titebond 3 for everything.
Now, with these oily woods, you could possibly, I've heard this before a couple of times. Before you glue them down, you wipe them down with naphtha. It'll remove a lot of that surface oil, and that'll help in the bond.
Either naphtha or I would make it either naphtha or alcohol. Get some denatured alcohol.
I use denatured alcohol. I always wipe down my wood and all that.
Yeah, wipe it down, and that helps cut down on some of the oil, or helps take the oil from off the surface. But due to the fact that the wood is really oily anyway, it's going to seep back out, but it'll give you a little bit of time.
Yeah. Well, I also do a lot of cutting boards. So the cutting boards, I like to use Titebond 3. It's waterproof. It's not water resistant.
Like I love Titebond 3. Yeah.
Doesn't the 3 leave like a different squeeze out than the 2 does? It's kind of like a, colored. I don't know even what to describe it as.
Titebond 3, you can see it right here. The Titebond 3 dries darker. It has darker lines in it.
Isn't it waterproof? And when it dries, it's food proof or food grade proof or whatever?
It's supposed to be food grade, yes.
Versus the 2, I think.
Well, the 2 is also.
Yeah, I think it is. But
yeah, they're all.
2 is water resistant. It's not waterproof like 3 is. I also use the Gorilla Glue. I've got a buddy that uses strictly that Gorilla Glue. I don't know. That stuff's expensive. I try to go a little bit cheaper. So, so once I turn a bowl, there's different ways you can do. You can sand it down. Some people use sandpaper, like pieces of it. Like I've got a 15-pound box over here in the corner that I got from Russ from the show. I use that sometimes when I want to get aggressive. Other people will use, it's whatever they can to do it. I use different things. I have these right here are sanding discs that I use. These ones are from Woodcraft. They're about $8.50 a piece. I use these right here, which are they're harder. These ones are from Wood Turning Wonders. I think I said that right. And they are about $4 a piece. And And then from Wood Turning Wonders, I just got a set of these when I was at the Atlanta Woodworking Show. And this one it just has this little mandrel here, and it came with the whole set. It has a bigger set and these, but about 8 of these. And what I do is I mark them. I got this one, which is, I think I'm inverted, huh? This one is 60. All right, and then I have 120 all there, and I keep the pads on there. A 220, and then the 320. So, and what that does is I take it and put it in my drill, and where's 320? There it is. And they just screw on. They screw on fairly easy, like that. And then I'll just use my drill, and that's how I sand. Everybody still here? Any questions on that?
That's how he sands.
And that's how we sand.
Yes.
That's how I sand. So once I sand a bowl, I usually sand it to about, depending on what kind of wood it is. If it's this oak right here, here's a bowl I did. This is called my Franken Bowl. Sorry, Russ. This was the original Franken Bowl. It's just a piece of segmented work inside of an oak bowl that I had. And I sanded this one down to about 1200 using the 320 on my little sander things, and then I went to regular sandpaper. And I do that because this oak is very pithy. It has a lot of open pores in it, and to get a good finish on it, it's got to be really smooth. So once I get that sand down, I want to talk about finishes real quick. There's different kinds of finishes that you can do. This one right here, this finish right here is Tung Oil. Okay. I got the high gloss Tung Oil, and I'll use that, and I'll put probably about 5 or 6 coats on here. So it'll give a good sheen to it. Usually doesn't get very glossy. I got a big picture of Al staring at me now. That was freaky.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and he's still here though. I'm impressed.
So this one right here, the finish I used on that one was this clear satin polyurethane, and it's the quick dry stuff. So I'll put probably 4 or 5 coats of that on there. I also, in my last video, wrong one. My last video, you can see that I used walnut oil, Danish walnut oil right here. And this actually dries hard, and it gets a hard coating. I don't know if you guys have ever used it on anything. It's really good stuff. I use it for other projects too.
When you say dries hard with a hard coating,
yes.
Now, are you talking about but it's still where you can put another finish on top of it, like add lacquer or polyurethane?
Yes.
Okay.
And it even says it on the can. After about 3 or 4 days, it says food safe, but I wouldn't believe that. I don't know. It's pretty strong smelling, although it says after it cures. But they say after anything cures, it's food safe. So I don't know.
Most of the products that they produce, polyurethane, everything nowadays, once they cure. Now, cure time and dry time are 2 different situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes after I put those on there, I'll put I'm sorry. After I would put that walnut oil or Danish walnut oil on there, I'd use some of this feed and wax. It's pretty good stuff. It gets a good shine on the bowl also. So. But my favorite, absolute go-to finish is the OB Shine juice, and that is a mixture right here. You can see how it's got the different layers. It's got boiled linseed oil, not linseed oil. Do not use linseed oil. Use boiled linseed oil. Okay, shellac and denatured alcohol, all 1/3, 1-to-1 on all those. So 1/3 of each.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure when you're using it, and I'm going to apply it to a bowl tonight so you can see how it works. But you got to shake it up real good, and then you'll use it, and you still got to shake it up again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And so if you
those are my
when he says 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, if you use 1 cup of boiled linseed oil, you use 1 cup of denatured alcohol and 1 cup of shellac. All 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. But that works very.
I use this little measuring shot glass thing here, and I fill it up that much shellac, that much denatured alcohol, and that much boiled linseed oil, and it makes one of these.
Yep.
Is it shellac flakes, or you use the out of the can, like at Home Depot?
Shellac right out of the can.
Yeah,
right out of the can. You know, a lot of people don't think about this, but you know, I went out and I bought a whole bunch of these right here, the condiment ketchup and things for picnics and all that. But you'll notice it gets a lot of gunk on it from this stuff. It's really sticky stuff. It's a friction polish. So something that you could do is go out and buy yourself one of these glue bots and use this, and it would do a lot better because as you squeeze it, it'll come back down as you let it go. So it's all getting transferred over there. So.
Hey, Ken, have you ever used that Yorkshire grit and Hampshire sheen on anything? I know Carl Jacobson swears by it.
I've seen a lot of people using it. I don't know. It looks like it'd probably be worth the money, but it's a little expensive, and kind of like my boiled linseed oil, my OB Shine juice finish. They say that the OB Shine juice finish will lose its gloss over time. I turned this bowl, I think, 4 months ago, and it's extremely shiny still. So I'd try it if somebody sent me some, but I'm not Russ. Am I, Russ?
No, I have I got sent some Hampshire grit and some, what was the other one?
Sheen,
Hampshire sheen and Yorkshire grit.
Yeah, there you go. I got sent some of that, and it makes a difference. What I like about the Yorkshire grit is you use it, it's like a sanding paste. But what I found about it is the paste actually, it does the sanding, but it also seals the wood of the bowl so that when you put a finish over it, the finish doesn't want to suck in as much, so it makes it even shinier. It helps. So yeah, I like that stuff.
Ken, you said you finished off on the yolk bowl with what grit? Sandpaper?
It all depends on what the wood is. I usually go to about 400, 500, 600 grit on most of my bowls. Some people will say you don't have to do that, but I like to do it. But I'll also use, if it's a regular bowl and not a segmented bowl, I'll use this. This is just sanding sealer. And I'll put the sanding sealer on there, which raises the grain and it seals it, and then I'll sand it again, and then I'll do this again, and then I'll sand it again. I'll do this 3 times if it's a regular bowl. But if it's a segmented bowl, to get the right, like this one that everyone saw at the Atlanta Woodworking Show, to be able to get a smooth, because the 2 different types of wood, I had Paduke and then I had maple, and it was a soft maple, so it sands a little bit different. You got to use higher and higher grit just to make sure it's smooth, because it'll dig down in it if you use anything higher.
The reason I asked that is I've heard some people say when you go to a really high grit that it burnishes the wood, and so that the wood doesn't want to take on whatever finish you're applying to it.
It can burnish the wood. I really haven't had the problem that the wood hasn't wanted to take the finish though. So if you go too high, I'm sure that it would burnish it, because it's just like grabbing the cuttings from the bowl and doing it, and that burnishes it too. So
what I think Katie is talking about is, Katie, what you've heard is, if you sand wood, if you're thinking about stain, let's say you want to make something out of pine, which pine can be stained, or poplar, which you can stain it in different colors. If you sand the poplar or the pine too fine, too hard, to the point of like above 220 to, let's say, 300 or 400 grit, you can actually burnish the wood so that it will not accept stain. It's not the finish.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, it's not the finish that is the problem. It's the matter of sanding. But apparently, the type of wood has a lot to do.
Right. So that's what you're talking about. Burnishing it means that it won't. You've sanded it so smooth that now the stain can't penetrate into the pores of the wood and can't make it a different color. So that's what you're talking about. Burnishing has nothing to do with the finish. Yeah, the finish doesn't matter. So
great. Thank you.
I did do a bowl, a bowl, and then stain that bowl. What I found though is, I don't know, before I stained it, and I couldn't see it, but once I stained it, you could see sanding marks all over it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've done that.
So I really don't do that. I am working on a paint bowl, one that'll be painted on the outside, kind of drizzled over it. So, all right. Well, what I can do now is I can switch it. Yes.
While you're switching, Ken, I got a kind of a question. How much of this stuff is food safe that we've been talking about? Dixon's kind of going my route. I'm an electronics guy, so we get into you start throwing all these different finishes out, and you want to make something like a cutting board or a bowl or something like that, but you don't want to make something that's not food safe.
Well, the bowls I do are more decorative. Like I said, after so long, I mean, I don't know how long, but once something cures, it's all food safe. But the bowls that I make, I mean, I'm not going to eat cereal out of this one, I might out of this one. But I don't know. You have to read the instructions. For cutting boards, I use beeswax. I don't use butcher block conditioner and all that stuff on there. I use beeswax and mineral oil. Mineral oil, it's set in such small quantities that it's not going to harm you. And all it's going to do, all mineral oil will do, is if you ingest a whole bunch of it, it will make the food go straight through you, and you can't get any nourishment from it. Okay? Sorry, Russ.
Yeah, it's kind of like what your mother. Mineral oil was given to you as a laxative. In other words, if you had some problems, some mineral oil. So, yeah, mineral oil is pretty safe. I would say if you were worried about doing something like on a bowl or a cutting board, you're safe with shellac and mineral oil and beeswax. Those three things. Pretty much they're telling you out there that anything that cures nowadays, polyurethane, lacquer, all that stuff, is okay. You can put it on there and you won't have any problem for the cure time. What they don't tell you is dry time is like 24 hours or so. Cure time could be 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, depending on what you're using. If you want to play it safe, I would say beeswax, mineral oil, and shellac. Those three things we know without a shadow of a doubt. You're not going to have problems with. You don't have to worry about shellac. You have to kind of worry about curing time because of the fact that you don't want anything wet. But I have a ton, and I've read a ton of people that have vats of mineral oil after they make their cutting boards. They submerge them in vats of mineral oil for like hours upon hours to absorb the mineral oil. So, and
I do it for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I soak it in a bath of it, and then I take it out and let it dry overnight or drain overnight.
Yeah.
Then I take beeswax and mineral oil mixture, and I wipe the whole thing down, let it sit for 20 minutes, and then wipe it off.
All right. While you're getting ready, Ken, I just want to point Moy Prez is out there. Moy, man, I haven't talked to you in a long time. He goes, "Hey, Russ, how's everything going, buddy?" It's great. Everything's doing fantastic. I'm glad you're out there in the chat tonight. It's really good to hear from you and see from you again. Tracy Keaton's out there. We had Moy said OB Shine juice is the best friction juice I've ever used, and he's right. I love OB Shine juice.
Yep, absolutely. My favorite go-to.
Yeah, it's cheap. James Parker says I put my glue in condiment bottles also. Yes, I agree. The condiment bottle. A lot of people use mustard bottles. They'll take their
I got a mustard bottle too.
Yeah, their mustard bottle after it's empty and clean it out and put their glue in there and use it. So Dickinson Hoffman, he's out in the chat. Let's go back up here while you're still. Tracy Keaton, she's out there. I appreciate you being out there, Tracy. Make It Extreme. Hello. He said hello, so I'll say hello to you. Make It Extreme. James Parker. They're all out there in the chat. Dave Hart. How you doing, Dave? My buddy Dave. Mike Smith. Good to see Mike out there in the chat. And Bob. Bob Lee's Wood Shop is out there in the chat. All those guys are out there. I appreciate y'all being out there. Are we about ready, Ken?
Yep. I'm going down and attach this piece of wood to the bottom here. All right, and all I'm using is some CA glue and some activator. You know, people sit there say this isn't safe, but can you hear me good?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. But the fact is, I haven't had anything come off of one of these yet.
It won't come off.
And I'll tell you what, once I'm done with it, I can just take a chisel and pop it right off.
Did you have something to say, Katie?
I was going to say, on the food safe stuff, if you're really, really concerned, you can make your own shellac, which out of the flakes are totally non-toxic. We know that.
Yeah.
But in making your own shellac on the food safe side, instead of using denatured alcohol, use Golden Grain or Everclear that you get at the liquor store. The denatured alcohol is basically the methanol with additives to keep people from drinking. It's poison.
Right.
It tastes bad. If you're really being a purist about it, you can use Everclear or Golden Grain to make your shellac.
I like the Everclear slant that Katie put on that.
I totally agree with you. I'm going to go with Everclear.
Everclear, yep. Everclear.
Make sure my vote's in.
Go get the Everclear. Yep, that's some good stuff.
If you're licking your shellac bottle, then you've got a problem.
I'd like to add a couple things here real quick. Jim Parker out in chat apparently had asked a question about putting sand in your glue when you're gluing things up. Sand in your glue is a very bad idea. It'll dull your chisels, and it doesn't dissolve. What I use is salt, and that will actually dissolve into the glue, but it's there long enough for you to actually get it positioned and clamped up and everything. Sand doesn't go away. I mean, it's there.
Yeah, it's silica. I agree with you.
Yep. And the other thing I wanted to add was talking about food safe finishes. If you're making cutting boards and stuff that are going to get a lot of abuse, don't use a film finish. Use a penetrating style finish. Therefore, your mineral oil, your beeswax,
right.
BLO you can actually use as well, but mix it with your beeswax and your I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, a penetrating finish is going to take abuse a lot more than a surface film finish would do.
Yeah, most of these finishes that you have out there that are for cutting boards, the butcher block stuff that you buy over the counter, most of or through the hardware stores and stuff, most of them are, if you'll read on it or get the stats on what it's actually done with, it's all mineral oil. That's the number one thing out there. Mineral oil and beeswax for a cutting board is the number one thing out there. You ready, Ken?
Yeah. I just want to show, I have different tools that I use. This is one of my favorites. You'll see me using on the thing. And I also like carbide, believe it or not. So I actually started off with making a few. This is one that I made a long time ago. I call this my Excalibur. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it down. This I noticed when I was turning some of this that this purple heart chips out. It chips out real easy when you're turning. So you got to keep a sharp tool. So I'll go ahead and.
While he is doing that,
what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was going to show you that when you're going down, you got to make sure that you get the right design for what you put the rings together as. Like I made a really small ring at the bottom, so this bowl is going to have to do more of a kind of like this, like a V. So I'm going to start bringing that down.
I noticed Donald's Blogs Fly Wood Shop, Donald Matthews, he's out there in the chat. Good to see you out there, Donald. He's had to work tonight and couldn't be on the panel, boy. I don't know what I'm going to do with you. Patrick's Wood Shop's out there in the chat. Good to see him. Always like seeing Patrick out there. Good friend of mine. Yeah, Donald used to be a constantly on my panel. Since he went to work for that nasty blue store, he doesn't have as much time for me anymore.
Well, he didn't have anything better to do than hang out with us.
Yeah.
Well, Russ, I think part of his employment contract was that he couldn't come on your show anymore.
Well, that could be true, which I could care less as long as he works for that place.
All right, Russ. So I did the outside of it, and as I said, it likes to gouge out. So what I was doing what are called scraping passes. I get my fingernail or my bowl gouge here, and I'll bring it across like that in a scraping pattern. Or, a lot of people will tell you don't use a scraper on a bowl. Oh, sorry. This is one of my favorite tools on a bowl right here, my round nose scraper.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to do a little bit of the inside here, and then what we'll do is, just so you're getting the gist of how you turn it, it's just like turning a regular bowl there. So,
sounds like a plan.
I keep on trying to not get in front of the computer, and I keep forgetting that my camera's up here.
Hey, Ken, have you got some? Well, never mind.
Huh? What'd you say, Jim?
I was going to ask you if you had some kind of chart or whatever that tells you what angles and stuff to make the little cutouts at to make the rings, so you can have different size rings.
Yeah, I have a chart that actually did a little Excel program that converts it for me. If I need a 6-inch, like a 6-inch ring, I need a 1. Oh wait, there it is. I need a 1.9 from here to here is 1.9 or 1.19 inches. But I've got a chart that tells me all that over there, and I've got it for 12 segments, 16, any kind of segments I want to do. I have that. So, and I didn't show it earlier, and I meant to. This right here is the saw stop, okay? And what this does is this goes into my miter track, and it goes on top of my my wedgie sled, this part, and I can make from the blade, the distance from here to the blade is the 1.19 inches that I would have to have. Once I get it to the right length away from the blade, I pop it down, and that's what my piece of wood rests against as it goes to the blade now.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to do a little bit of this inside so you can see what I do there, and then we're going to jump over to finish.
Somebody out there wanted to know if I kicked Donald off because of the blue store. Come on, give me a break. No way. They kicked Donald off. Donald is, since he's working at the blue store, and I'll just say it, since Donald works at Lowe's, he doesn't have as much time as he used to be on our show. So, trust me, Donald has an open invitation to be on here anytime he wants to. He knows that. And he says Russ even gets blue gift cards. Hell no, I don't even get blue gift cards. I have a Lowe's credit card. What are you talking about, Donald?
Well, Donald went to work and you ended up with me. I mean, good grief.
That's true.
All right, so that's just how you do that. You know, scrape it down. It takes a good few hours, probably about 3 hours to turn a segmented bowl for me. I want to make sure that it's all sanded down and scraped down and everything's good to go on it. So through the magic of
what kind of chuck you got, kid?
It looks like a Nova chuck.
Nova chuck?
This is a Nova chuck. It's a G3. I've got
a G3 Nova.
Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
Nova chucks rock.
Yeah, and I get them when they're on sale.
Yeah, they are.
Last year, Black Friday, Woodcraft had them for $70. So
yeah, I've got like 4 or 5 of them, I think, right now.
Yeah, I just bought my 3rd set.
Yeah, they are. Nova chucks rock.
And I've got
now. Wait just 1 second. Is this the same type of bowl that you were just turning? In other words, you did the same layout. So
this is. I made 2 of them.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Great. Wow.
The magic of television.
Yeah, the magic.
If you want to, you can see the purple comes out. The thing about Purple Heart, the purple will really come out if once you cut it. But you let it sit for a while and it'll start darkening up before you put a finish on it. So I let it sit for about a day or so before I put a finish on it. So it keeps that really nice purple hue. I really can't see it in the video, so I'm not sure if it's coming through the purpleness of it.
Yeah, you can see purple. It looks purple.
So what I do is whenever they have a sale, I'll go out and I'll go buy the chuck jaws. So I've got about 10 different sets of them, different kinds for different things. So right here, and I keep it in this little.
That's a
one
good
of the best
idea.
things Home Depot has.
I like that idea. The way you did that. I might have to start doing that to keep my jaws together in pairs up. As run a little tie through them and keep them.
I've got all my spare stuff for turning and all that. I got a spare wood screw. I've got spare carbide. These are the best deals. You can go on the internet, like World Tooling or something like that, and get 10 of these for $30. And these are square ones. I have the radius ones. And then I went on to eBay and I thought I'd get these ones to try. They're circular ones, the 16 millimeter, and they were like $15 for all these.
Wow.
And they look great. All right. So,
all right, you got about 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
We're good. I just need to find the sampler. There it is. All right, so this bowl right here is already sanded down to 220. I'm just going to do the 320, and then what we'll do is we'll do the OB Shine juice on it. And all I'm doing is I get it going. To do the inside, and I just bring it out. Just like that.
It's like combing your hair. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's all I do. Now, something that a lot of people don't use, I use, is just an air hose to get all the, because I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but there's little divots where the, sorry, I got a mosquito, where the boards come to, the pieces come together. Now, it's smooth. You can't feel anything, but little pieces of fine dust in there. So, and you really can't see it, but on the foot of this, I'm going to have to cut it down a different way because it's got some tear out that I can't seem to get out. I've cut it, and it just, I think there's a defect in the wood right there. That's what we're going to say anyways, right?
Dickinson Hoffman says, if I go down that rabbit hole, it could get expensive. You're exactly right. If you start into turning, it's one of those things that the more you turn, the more you spin. The more you spin, the more you turn. The more you turn, the more you spin. It gets to that thing that, oh, I've got to have this check, or I've got to have this set of jaws, or I got to have this tool. So, yeah, it's a deep rabbit hole once you get involved in the turning, trust me.
Hey, Russ, I bought these from Best Wood. So I bought all this from Best Wood Tools the other day, but I haven't had a chance to use it, so I don't want to use it on the show and stuff go flying. Now, little thing about the that tool rest I just showed you, the base of it I got from Best Tools, and it was a little bit too long, even though they said it was for my my Grizzly here. It was a little bit too long, about a ½ inch too long. They were very good, and they said they would send me another one and the right size and all that stuff. Customer service is really good with them, and I'm not getting paid to tell you this. I'm just letting you know, because if you have a Grizzly, it's very hard to find a 25mm post for your Grizzly.
Right.
You can get with the Robusto lathes has them, but they're expensive. All I did is went over to my neighbor's house. He took his metal cutting saw and we cut off a ½ inch. So, all right. So OB Shine juice. Got to make sure you shake it up.
Donald from Donald Vlogsfile. You know Donald Matthew. He says a real man wouldn't need a drill. He'd just stick his hand in there and sand it out.
Yep, that's true. What I do is I put a little bit on here. You don't need too much, okay? And a lot of people use paper towels. I don't. I've tried to use it, but it gets kind of sticky.
I would much rather use like a T-shirt type of material.
That's what I use, T-shirt.
Yeah. I tried using paper towels, and I found out the T-shirt works much better. You get an old T-shirt, cut it up, that cotton material, for a T-shirt just makes it shine so pretty.
And that's exactly what I use right here. I just get all my T-shirts.
Yep, that's what paper towels didn't give me near the shine that the T-shirts did.
Nope, they sure didn't me either. So now I've got a base coat on there. Let it dry for a second. Put it on, and then I start wiping. I put more onto the cloth. And you can see that shine coming. And then you got to burnish it, like we were talking about. You got to get that friction going.
Yeah. It's called friction polish for a reason. You want to build up the heat, which causes that shellac and that boiled linseed oil and everything to really start actually hardening it on the surface.
Ken, what kind of lathe do you have?
Who?
Ken's.
All right.
I think he has a grizzly lathe.
Yeah, he's got that mechanical adjustment, speed adjustment on it.
Yeah, Ken, what's your lathe? Is that a grizzly?
Yeah, this is a Grizzly 462.
Right.
I got this about 5 years ago, and the only thing I've had to do to it is change out the bearings because I put a big piece of wood on there and didn't use my tailstock when I was first starting to turn, and I messed up one of the bearings. They sent me new bearings right away, and it was tough getting those bearings in, but they're in.
Do you have a speed monitor on the top of it?
Donna Presley wants to know, I was watching with the sound off, and why is the bowl purple? Donna, that bowl is called Purple Heart. That's the wood he's using.
Does the shine come out on the video?
Yes. Yes, it is very shiny. We can see the reflection of the light in it. It has made a big difference.
This OB Shine juice is incredible stuff. I'm glad I started using it. I was hesitant when I first started, but let me show you the speed control. It's going to get dizzy real quick. Hold on. All right. So this is the speed control right here. It's a lever. I'll show you. This turns it on. And that controls the speed. You'll notice I have it set forward. Don't ask me why I put it there, and I've tried to put it back there, and I really don't like it. I don't know. It just doesn't feel comfortable. Okay, you're gonna get dizzy again.
Do you have a speed monitor up on the top of it there, that white box?
Yes, and it shows the speed. Now you'll notice that my bearings, when I put them back in, they were really hard to get in, like I was talking about. And my low speed on this is supposed to be 500, and I'm sorry, 600, and I can get it to go down to about 550 now because the bearings are dragging a little bit. But they've been doing that for about 3 years, and they work great.
Donna's complaining. She says her Purple Heart never looks that purple.
Well, let me switch back over now.
Well, one of the things I can tell you, Donna, is it won't, even though that looks that purple right now, it won't stay that purple. After it sits for a little while, it'll start darkening up.
Well, that's true, Russ, but if you do a bowl and you put the finish on it, it will stay that purple. If you do once you cut it and you let it sit for a couple hours or a day and it gets this color purple, if you put a finish on it, it'll stay that way. I got one in the house that's still that color, and I did it 2 years ago. Now, really? Like I said, but if you let it sit, it won't. It'll darken up, real dark.
Yeah, from my my workings with it, it usually darkens up. But maybe I've never turned a bowl with Purple Heart, so.
I made a ring holder for my daughter, one that has like that teardrop thin piece in the center that kind of comes up and it's bulbed on the end. Then there's a bowl on the bottom of it. And it was dark when I gave it to her, and she said the same thing. What happened to the purple?
Yeah.
And I just told her, wait a couple of days, and as the sunlight hits it, it'll come back. And sure enough, it did. It was, it turned out to be a really nice purple color.
Yeah.
Sunlight has a lot to do with this wood. This wood, if you keep it in a dark place, it darkens up.
Yeah.
Sunlight will brighten it up too. So,
I think if you put a lot of heat on it too, from burning it, that must do something to the tannins in the wood or whatever.
Yeah.
When it cools down, it seems to lighten up.
My experience with it, it's not. That's a very purple right now, but usually within 24 to 48 hours, it starts darkening up. So I would have to say, Ken, I want to see that bowl within 24 or 48 hours after.
Well, that means I got to finishing it and cutting it then. You said I could start drinking at 9:30.
You put the shine juice on it, so it should seal it.
I only did the inside though.
Okay. I didn't think about that.
Look, I haven't been sober on a Saturday night this late in a long time. So,
well, hey, less talk shop with Russ is good for you, baby.
It's another first for Simply Wooden Creations.
Yeah, we kept Ken sober on a Saturday night. Isn't that fantastic?
It ain't gonna last.
I can see your next match is gonna be AA.
Yep.
Hello, my name is Ken.
And I have a problem. I don't have a beer in my hand right now. That's the problem.
Well, you're not using tools, so grab a beer if you want one. I mean,
well, I'd have to go all the way back into the house.
Okay.
And I will for the after show.
All right. Well,
on the Purple Heart, about it darkening up, will Bloodwood do the same thing? Will it?
Not as bad.
Not as bad.
No,
I mean, I know it's a different color.
Purple or Bloodwood will do the same thing to a point, but it keeps more of the red color than Purple Heart. For some reason, when it goes dark, it goes dark, and it's like, wow. You look at it and go like, wow, this is so purple the day before or whatever when I cut it. Now I don't know much about it as Ken does, because he says once he finishes it, it stays pretty well purple.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how this one does, because I'm not going to finish it tonight. So we'll see how dark it gets. But
yeah, I would like to see that, because my experience with it, it doesn't matter once you cut it and turn it or scroll it or whatever. Even if I finish it, it never has that pretty purple as it did when I first started with it.
Yeah, I mean, I made some cutting boards, and you're right. Those do get darker. So.
Yeah.
But let me show you like this. This is Paduke, okay? And you can see how orange it is. It's a really orange wood. That bowl I brought to Atlanta is Paduke also, but do you see how red that is?
Yeah.
It darkens up also, because it was this color when I first made it.
Yeah, but it's still... It turned a darker form of red, but it didn't lose the red tint, so to speak.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we will see. I'll let you know. I'll post some pictures of it on Facebook, and we'll see if it stayed this purple.
The Purple Heart's really extreme, though. It seems like it goes really dark on you, and then once it sits for a couple of days after you turn it, it comes back okay.
Yeah, I haven't experimented that much with Purple Heart to know, or to be a person that could tell you what's going on with it and how to treat it to keep it that purple. Only thing that my experience is when I scrolled a piece that was really purple and it looked really good, I'm like, oh man. And then you put it down and you spray it with lacquer and you come back, it goes, the purple just kind of like leaves it. And
exactly.
I'm like, darn, what happened to that beautiful purple that was before?
I got this one Monday, and it is not as purple, but it is purple. It just doesn't have the finish on it. It looks just like the outside purple of the bowl.
Right.
This right here is from another bowl. I saved pieces of bowls. If I'm cutting a bowl like that bowl there, and the ring is too big, I'll use my parting tool and I'll cut it out, and then so I've got this little purple heart right here, which is a little bit darker, but if you bring it up to the side, it looks just like the unfinished side. It's a purple. See? I'm not sure if you can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got all sorts of.
Unfortunately, it's one of those weird woods.
It is very weird.
Paduke and Bloodwood. Now, Bloodwood, I learned a lot about Bloodwood. That is 10 times oilier than any other wood I've ever messed with. If you put Bloodwood up against like a maple, for instance, I put it together one time for a pen, like a segmented pen. the bloodwood will actually, the red will actually go into the maple. It will, the oils out of the bloodwood will soak over into the maple, and you won't have that fine line of red and white. You'll have a bleed over where you see it. And I was like, wow, really?
They told me that would happen with this Duke. When I was making that bowl, when I was showing it online on Facebook, everyone was like, "Oh, that's just going to bleed into that ash." And then somebody told me, they said it ain't going to happen if you put the finish on quick enough. I've never used bloodwood. It's a lot more oily than that Paduke. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, Paduke's real oily. I noticed that, and bloodwood. To me, bloodwood, Paduke, and there was one other that I messed with. It was really, really oily to the point that I just couldn't believe it. And it did bleed over. I mean, there was no doubt about it. It bled over. And
I brought down to ATL.
Do what?
Did you bring? Did you get any of that Brazilian cherry I brought down?
No, I got the asphalted oak you gave me. The 8-foot board I had to cut in half to get in the Camaro.
That was the greatest.
Yeah, that my friend, what was his name from?
Rob Franklin.
Yeah, he helped me out and brought a battery-powered saw so we could cut it in half and put it in the Camaro. Ken Moon brings in 8-foot long piece, 2 or 3 inches thick of oak, about 6 inches or 8 inches wide. How am I going to get this in the dead burn Camaro? You know.
I told you to bring a truck.
My friend, Franklin? Rob Franklin?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Franklin brought a battery-powered saw. We cut it in half to get it into the Camaro to bring it home. I still got the piece. I haven't done anything. It's sitting right out there.
Hey, Ken, I got a question for you. I saw, while we're talking about oily woods, I saw a video Bob Claggett did about making teak like planters, so his wife could, put flowers all over the house in them. But one of his just completely exploded when it was on the lathe because the glue didn't hold. Do you do anything special to wood when you're trying to glue it to keep it from, blowing off of the lathe on you?
No. You got to go slow. I mean, he does some great projects. He is not a turner. He'll be the first one to tell you that. So with the projects, when you do a bowl like this bowl, you don't want to crank it up too much because just like any bowl, this salted oak bowl that I did had some bark on it, and I turned it up a little bit too fast, and that bark slapped me in the face mask. I cleaned up a piece of bark that flew off and bounced and hit over there on another bowl that I was doing.
Hold that bowl back up there. Man, I got his brother right here, his twin.
Yeah.
Look at that.
A family reunion, huh?
That's
awesome. Yeah, because my trash. I mean, they look a lot. Mine's how big is that one? About 8 inches. This is about a 6 inches diameter.
Yeah, it's about 8 or 9 inches, something.
Yeah, this is about a 6 inch. That's really wild. When you held it up, I'm like, holy crap! I got a bowl just like that.
I don't know. I ain't got a ruler in here.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to worry about measuring it.
Come on, it's a competition, right?
Here we go.
This is where the show went down the hill.
Yeah. Hey, Russ, I do appreciate you having me on. I really appreciate you letting me show you guys some stuff. And I really enjoy. I really appreciate that you do this every Saturday. It's a lot of work for you, so thank you.
I just want to say one thing. Thank you very much. It has been very. People do not understand when they say about being on the show and doing what you've just done. It takes a lot of some preparation. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of everything to put something on and doing it as well as you did. And I would just like to say thank you very much. I've enjoyed it, and you've taught me a lot, and I've learned a lot tonight also because I've only done a few segmented bowls. So I appreciate you doing this tonight very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you having me on, like I said.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, Ken.
Yeah, very good. A very good job. Very good job. Guys, if you Tracy Keaton said, Ken Moon, you are incredible. I truly enjoy your craft. So
thank you.
Twins to the movie with Russ and Ken about the bowls. Yeah, I guess. Okay. So if y'all have any last questions for Ken, go ahead and post them right now. Becky's Texas Woodshop said, thanks, Ken. Grace Hunter said, Ken, you did a great job telling us how to make. That was your mother?
That's my mother. She's
Grace, I am so glad to have you on the show tonight, Grace. Thank you so very much, Grace.
I would go one step further, Grace. If you could raise a kid like that, I would love to be your friend.
Yeah.
That must have been one crazy house when you guys were growing up.
Grace, Ken is one of the craziest guys I know, but he is also one of the best friend, Grace, best-hearted guys I know also. So good to have you out there.
Russ,
She said never heard there was a Purple Heart wood out there. So she didn't even know there was Purple Heart until you told her, Ken. James Parker said, thanks, Ken and Russ, for a great show. Grace said, LOL. So she's laughing at all of her comments.
We did get one question a long time ago at the beginning of the show from Dave Satosky.
Uh-huh. Can you find it?
Hey, while he's looking, I got a question about your wedgie sled, Ken.
Yes.
If you'll grab it. If it's handy, if you'll grab it.
That's right here.
Grab your wedgie sled.
If you have if you have your piece of wood cut so that it's parallel, can you cut one of the angles on one of the guides and then just slide it down to the other guide to cut the other piece?
About like this, going from
and then just bringing it down to the next. Yeah. Yep.
You can. And that would actually be a preferred method if you want to get a continuous grain. Because when I'm doing this, I'm sorry. Yes, you can do that. It's preferable to flip it when you bring it over to here, though.
Okay.
Because then you get the grain.
One more question. You got the sled up? Did
we lose him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Yeah, he said a question.
That's what he gets for trying to ask me questions.
He pushed the wrong button.
We've had James Parker out there. Donna Presley's been out there.
He's back.
Jim Bashir's just disappeared on us.
No,
He's back.
Sorry.
James Parker would like to know where he can get the cutting chart from.
I went online and I just looked up segmented, or ring sizes, segmenting, or something like that, and they're all over the place. The only one I couldn't find was the 16 segmented one. And I just went on there and looked on how to do it. There's all sorts of stuff. Jerry Bennett, I think that's his name. He's got some really great stuff on his website. You can go from his YouTube. He's the one that does the wedgie sled, Jerry Bennett. And he does segmentology, and he has all the charts and everything. So it's on his website. I think it's called segeasy.com. And that's where I got all that stuff. And then I made a few up myself.
Real quick, I just wanted to point out Edgar Natras, a good friend of mine. He's joined us tonight. I haven't heard from him in a while. He says, greetings from Nevada. good to hear from you, Edgar. I haven't talked to you in a while, so hey, man, hit me up on Facebook, PM me, and I would appreciate it.
What was the question that you got disconnected on?
Moy Perez said, Ken, you are inspiring me to try this segmented stuff.
It is absolutely fun to be able to do different designs. I think I've got it down the way I do it, that I'm going to start trying to put other designs inside the bowls, as in the rings that I want to target. You know, they're called the hell, I can't remember what they're called. Sorry.
Like a trim ring or something.
Yeah, you know, there's one ring, and I can't remember what it's called. My mind's blank on me right now. But it's gonna be like one ring will have like a design in it, like a little eagle or something like that in it. So,
Excuse me.
All right, I think that's about all we have. I'm looking at the time.
Jim, what was your question? You got cut off about halfway through your question.
Yeah.
He can't ask the question. Every time he goes to ask it, it cuts him off.
Yeah, Jim's stuck with his mouth open.
Wake up, Jim.
It looks like he's catching flies.
I think he's got narcolepsy.
Isn't this funny? Every time he goes to ask that question, it blots him out. Oh my God, this is just too funny. That's just too funny.
I have a question if anybody knows. Some of these guys that turn, you know, something I suppose, they put a super high gloss mirror type finish on there. What are they using? Do you have any idea? I guess there's different stuff.
Yeah, you can do a super high gloss mirror finish, because believe it, you may not be able to see it in the camera, but this is very high gloss, and it's over shiny. You just got to put a lot of layers on it.
Okay.
That's one thing I got knocked in that bowl. Russ and them convinced me to enter it into the Woodworker magazine show that they had, and one of the things they said, I didn't have enough finish on there, and I knew I didn't. I told Russ and them I didn't before I put it in there, because I only put 3 coats of finish on it because I was in a hurry to get down to Atlanta. So you put enough of the OB Shine Juice and you'll get a great mirror finish, or polyurethane or anything.
Jeff Robinson would like to know if you have done any open segmented.
I have not. That has a patience that I just don't have. You have to have a patience that I don't have for that. It is something that I thought about doing, but I haven't to this day. No.
Yeah, that scares the hell out. It don't scare me other than the fact that all that time putting it together and one miss and it flies apart.
One catch and it's done.
Yeah, that scares the hell out of me. All right, so 2 things. If you like what you've seen tonight, give me a thumbs up. And I'm so fantastic. We've already got 33 thumbs ups over there in the on the show already tonight. Thank you very much, and shame on you for the 3 thumbs down, whoever you were. I know who you were. Trust me, I know who you are. But anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate that so very much. But anyway, I talked about a giveaway, and I have it sitting right here. A set of bench cookies from Rockler. So if you want these, all you have to do, there are 167 people that are already signed up for this. Who's that 167 people? Anybody have an idea?
Ooh. The people that subscribe to your newsletter.
You're right.
I beat Al, I get the kit.
So all you have to do is be a subscriber, because this is strictly going out to those people who have already subscribed to the Simply Wooden Creations newsletter. All you have to do is be a subscriber. You're entered. You don't have to do anything else. Just sit back and wait and see if I call your name and say that you're the one that won. So that's all you got to do. So this is to promote my newsletter and say thank you for the 167 that I've already entered. And if you want to win this, just jump on the bandwagon, because you will need to enter by midnight tomorrow night, which Sunday night. Everybody who is entered by midnight on Sunday night will be eligible. You don't have to do anything else. And I will let you know next week. I will tell you if you're the winner for this, for just entering already on the newsletter. So that's all you have to do. So 167 people are already entered. So this is going to be good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Brenda. I know I think a few of you've bailed. I know Jim bailed out. Unfortunately, I don't know if his internet collapsed or whatever, but thank you for Brenda. And thank you for Chris.
Signing off. Remember our conversation on.
Oh, what did you want to finish up? Hold on. I'm sorry. What did you want to do?
Remember our conversation about this bowl?
Yeah.
Think of a question and to give it away.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I told you to think of a question. I don't know of any questions.
All right. So Ken, all right. I forgot all about that until you just remind me. Well, it goes back to I'm getting old, dude. So Ken is wanting to give away the bowl that he has, and he's going to finish it, that is on the lathe tonight. Okay. So I got a good question, and for that. So if you want to win that bowl, all you have to do is answer this question. Locked on Ken. All you have to do is answer this question and send it to the answer to Russ. Contest at simplywoodencreations.com. Okay. Contest at simplywoodencreations.com. And I've been telling for years people how long I've been scrolling. There's a term that I've used that is really old, that it goes back to how long I've been scrolling. Not in years term, but there's a term that I have used. You would have to have known. Well, let's don't do that. That's really too hard. Did anybody on the panel know what I'm talking about? What I used to say? I've been scrolling since I was.
You had to agree, Trevor.
Yep, John knows it. So all you have to do is send knee-high to a grasshopper to Russ at contest at simplywoodencreations.com. Knee-high to a grasshopper.
That was a long time ago.
Yep.
In a land far, far away.
Yep.
Hey, Russ, send their address with that.
Do what? Do what?
I said they need to send their address with that, so we can
send your. If you want to get the bowl, you better send your address and everything else to that contest at simplywoodencreations.com also. So Ken's going to finish up that bowl. Point at it one more time. I'm locked on to you. He will finish that bowl up, and he will ship it to you. And all you have to do is email me at contest at simplywoodencreations.com and put all your information, your name, address, phone number, whatever we need, and include knee-high to a grasshopper. How's that, Ken?
Sounds great.
Yep.
We got a plan.
Yep, we got a plan. Grasshoppers were larger back then, Edgar says.
So let me get this right. Contest at simplywoodencreations.com.
Knee-high to a grasshopper, and then all your information.
Yeah.
My mom said she wins. She gave birth to me.
Name, address, phone number, include knee-high to a grasshopper. And that's it, right?
Yep. And once I get all that, we'll pick out the we'll do that next weekend also. Let's do it both.
You might want to include Ken's Bowl in the subject line so you don't get a bunch of spammers.
That's a good idea. The subject line for the bowl, put that in there as Ken's Purple Heart Bowl.
You know, you probably already got emails.
Oh, I know, but Ken's Purple Heart Bowl. Include that in there too.
Subject line, Ken's Purple Heart Bowl.
It doesn't matter because you didn't have to do it here. Whoever sends me an email tonight after this show goes over, I'll get their email. There'll be a timestamp, and it doesn't matter what they put the subject line due to the fact because the other ones is the people that are already on the newsletter, so I can't get them messed up.
How are you going to pick the winner?
We're going to pick the winner next Saturday night on the show, and we'll do a random order thing.
That's Memorial Weekend, right?
I'm doing a show next Saturday night. I don't give a flip if it's Memorial Weekend or not.
I'm going to be in Gatlinburg with Missy. So.
Okay, well, I'll give your bowl away, and you won't even have to be here.
All right. I'll try to be here.
So Dave Hart sent it. Moy sent it. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be here next Saturday night?
I can pop in, but I'm going to be in Gatlinburg.
Well, when do you want to do it? Then do you want to do the giveaway the next weekend after?
Do it this weekend, this Saturday coming up. That's fine.
Hey,
yeah, we'll do them both.
Jim, you want to say it real quick before you bye, Jim?
That was good. Yeah.
Both times you tried to ask that question and you dipped out.
I heard you say that the last time before the. I don't know what's going on. What happened here? We lost all our internet coming into the house. And it finally came back up again.
Well, you better ask that question before you go out again.
Okay, my question was. Now I don't remember what it is. I'll remember it in a minute. Because unlike you, rum and coke all night.
Oh my God. All right.
God,
so
what the heck was I going to ask you?
We have two things tonight to give away. One, the bowl that Ken Moon started tonight on the show. He's going to finish that and he's going to give it away to somebody. All you have to do is remember the keywords knee-high to a grasshopper. Send it to contest@simplywoodencreations.com. Then next Saturday night, I'll compile all those names and we'll have a giveaway for that. So that's one. The other one is the bench cookies from my good friends over at Rocklear. We're giving away. And all you have to do is be signed up by midnight tomorrow night for my newsletter over at simplywoodencreations.com. In order to do that, you have to go to my website, go across the newsletter, go down. You'll see enter, click here, go there and sign up. There's 167 people already entered to get this. So that's all you got to do. So 2 giveaways tonight. And I appreciate that very much, Ken, that you're going to give that bowl away. Actually, I forgot all about it, my friend. If my memory is probably as long as knee-high to a grasshopper.
Ken, I remember that. I remember that question now. Very good. When you put your angle sled on to cut the segments out, that other sled that you built to do the lengths with, do you put that in the other slot and then just kind of push the stop over? So you use both sleds at the same time?
Yeah. Here, I'll show you how it sits. It's upside down, but this sits just like this.
Oh, it goes against the back of your sled now?
Yeah, well, it goes into that other miter slot on the other side of my...
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
This goes in one miter slot, and this goes in the other.
Okay.
And this moves, and this stays still. It just does this. Ooh, I'm glad you got that question out.
But you know, I would not have been able to sleep tonight had I not got that question out to you.
And PJ, the winner is not based on the PayPal donation size.
Do what?
Paul John's Life says winner based on size of PayPal donation.
No, it's not. No, if you want to PayPal me anything you want to PayPal me, $5, whatever you want to PayPal me, that's fantastic. It's on my website, but it's not in any way, shape, or form to.
Any donations to moonovermiami@hotmail.com.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. Moy Perez said, "Done. Subscribe to your newsletter, Russ." Thank you, Moy. Man, that warms the cockles of my heart. That is fantastic. I appreciate that. And trust me, I'm blown away that 167 people before the show had already subscribed. I figured, you know, I won't repeat myself. I'm blown away that many people would have subscribed already. So, and I am really, really sincere about this. I am working at making that newsletter something fantastic. I have already, and I've made this statement before. I've talked to a lot of my sponsors and a lot of other companies that are willing to come on board, and so give deals to tools and stuff from their websites. There'll be later on down the road when this thing gets rolling, there'll be a special coupon codes. In other words, that you'll go to their site and order something and put the coupon code in, and you'll get the discount for. So that is all in the works for this newsletter, and I'm really hoping this thing. It's already taken off. I mean, that's all I can say. It's already taken off. So I'm really hoping that this thing grows and continues to grow. And thank you so very much for supporting me and being out there. What are y'all laughing at? Hey, Dotson.
It's my fault. I thought we were offline in the after room chat when I came back on because I'd been off for so long.
Oh.
Aren't you glad you didn't start?
I'm glad I didn't say something I shouldn't have. I looked up at you. I thought, boy, Russ is pretty mellow here, talking about how he loves everybody and everything is cool.
I thought he was talking about you, huh?
Yeah.
No, we're still live, Jim.
Yeah, I see that now. Thanks for the heads up there, buddy.
Katie says she has to go.
No, I'm back now.
She's already left.
I already left and came back. You don't have a clue.
Just gonna sit here in the corner.
Oh my God! We gotta get off here, guys. We're going way over the time that I allotted for this. This is what time is it? Is it
about from Harbor Freight?
That's where we started.
Yeah. Yep, those are the ones. Those things are awesome. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. Thank you so very much. I've got 42 thumbs up. Thank you so very much. And we've had like at one time 47 to 48 people watching. We still got 32 people watching us right now, and that's almost, what is it, 10 o'clock at night?
Oh, yeah.
It's yeah. I appreciate you guys.
Party.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys so very much for doing that. Thank you very much. So anyway, Donald is out there. Moy Perez is out there. Becky's Texas Woodshop. Paul John's Life. Michelle Marcoux. Edgar Natras. Dan. Ingerbrettson's been out there. I'm trying to think of who else has been out there. Grace Hunter has been out there. Is it Grace? Yeah, Grace Hunter and Melissa Hunt has been out there. I appreciate you all watching. Dave Hart. Those are just a few of you who have been out there. to watch us tonight, and I really appreciate you watching us. I am just so tickled tonight. I'm laughing because I know some of the things that's been going on behind the scenes that they're Jim Bashir is coming back in and thinking that we were not on air is funny. I'm glad you didn't say anything to mess everything up, Jim.
Jim, that's something I would do, except that I wouldn't have held back. I
know that's just funny as all get out. So,
Katie, yeah, I aspire to be you one day.
So
you need to practice more.
One thing we got left to do, and that is just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching, and God
bless. Night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Bye, boys and girls. Remember, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Bye.
Yeah. Go.